Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to IELTS Monkey. This is the IELTS Monkey mock speaking test number 2. I did the first one a couple of days ago, and everyone seemed to like it, so I think I'm going to start doing these once or twice a week because it's a really great way for you to have that experience of sitting across from an examiner and really kind of dealing with the stress and anxiety that comes with having to answer questions in a certain amount of time. When you're sitting at home, it's a lot easier to think about your answers and to answer the questions, but you're not necessarily thinking about the timing as much. And this will give you a good opportunity to practice that. Now, I'm also going to start including a general tip with each of these mock tests. And today's mock test tip has to deal with part 1. In part 1, if you just give like one-word answers or one-sentence answers, your examiner will continuously ask you why, and we want to try and avoid this as much as possible by giving nice 2 to 3 sentence answers. So, in normal conversation, it's okay to give these shorter answers because it's quite natural. But just remember, in the IELTS exam, it is a test of your English ability. And while it may seem obvious why you do the things you do, make sure to explain them for the examiner, to extend your answers a little bit so that you can get an overall higher score. So, are you ready to begin? Now, like before, all you need is a pen or a pencil and a piece of paper for taking notes in part 2, and then you just need yourself. So maybe go ahead and pause the video here while you go and grab that, and then when you're ready, come back and we'll get started. Okay? Ready to go? Let's do it. This is the mock speaking test for the International English Language Testing System, conducted on the 1st of September here at IELTS Monkey. Your examiner is Patrick Somby, examiner number 983048, and the candidate is you, candidate number 225676. Good afternoon. My name is Patrick Somby. Can you tell me your full name, please? Thank you. And what should I call you? Okay, great. Thanks. Can I see your identification, please? Okay, thank you. That's fine. Now, in the first part of the test, I'm going to ask you some questions about yourself. First of all, let's talk about where you live. Do you live in a house or an apartment at the moment? What is your favorite room in your house or apartment? What views can you see through your window? What kind of house or apartment would you like to have in the future? Okay, great. Thank you. Let's move on to talk about outer space. Have you ever learned about outer space and the stars? Do you want to learn more about outer space? Would you ever want to travel to outer space in the future? Do you like science fiction movies? Okay, great. Thank you so much. Let's move on to talk about staying up late. Do you often stay up late? Did you stay up late when you were a kid? What do you like to do when you stay up late? How do you usually feel the next morning when you stay up late? Okay, great. Thank you so much. Now I'm going to give you a topic, and I'd like you to talk about this topic for 1 to 2 minutes. But before you talk, you'll have 1 minute to think about what you're going to say, and you can make some notes if you wish. Do you understand? Okay. Do you have your pen and pencil? Do you have your piece of paper? All right, let's get started. So I'd like you to describe an unusual meal you had. All right, thank you. Now remember, you have 1 to 2 minutes for this, so don't worry if I stop you. I'll tell you when the time is up. Can you start speaking now, please? Thank you very much. Have you tried this meal again? Okay, great. Thank you. So, we've been talking about an unusual meal you've had, and I'd like to discuss with you a couple more general questions related to this. Let's consider, first of all, having dinner. Do you think that having dinner at home is a good idea? Thank you. What would you say are some of the benefits of having dinner together as a family? Thank you. In your country, do families these days spend more or less time having meals together than in the past? Okay, great. Thank you. Let's move on to talk a little bit about cooking, restaurants, and food culture. Do you think people are more or less willing to cook meals by themselves these days as compared to the past? Do people in your country like to socialize in restaurants or do they just eat by themselves? Thank you. Would you say that food culture is important in your country? Okay, great. Thank you so much. That's the end of the speaking test. All right, good job. Another one done. As always, go back and review the band descriptors, fluency and coherence. Did you keep your answers going? Did you use connecting words and discourse markers to connect your ideas together? How about your vocabulary? Did you have some topic related vocabulary for restaurants and food, for example, in part two and part three? Pronunciation Any words that caused you difficulty? Did you have trouble saying anything? You can go ahead and practice this in the evenings. And of course, let's try and make sure that our grammar, we use a mixture of simple and complex sentences, while also making sure we use the appropriate tenses where it matters. Once again, thank you so much for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed today's mock test, and stay tuned. I'll have another test 3 and test 4 coming out next week. Have a great weekend. Have a good one. Bye-bye. Thanks.